Hi there, brick builders. Today we are big with a MOC. Yes, I know, it's been a while for the last MOC, but this one really needs it, since it's the wheel loader by BlueBrix, and the model isn't bad per se, but it's missing some things, and this is what we try to remedy today. And as you can see, that's the result. There are three main differences here. First of all, as you might have already spotted, we've got light. Yes, we've got light on the ceiling, we've got light in the front. We have the lights to start and stop via the remote, via a new remote. And this new remote is a molking remote that also can use the motors in an analog fashion, not the digital stuff anymore, since for wheel loader or for everything that can lift pallets you really need to have fine control, and this is what it takes. And that's of course our first task. We have to open the model or disassemble it in the back to get rid of the BlueBrix battery box, since this one is one, only digital, and two, it only has 4 channels, and for our light we need a lot more, to say 6 in the end, and that is where the molking box comes into play, but not so fast. First we have to change the rear, of course, also, since this box by molking is somewhat bigger, not to say a lot bigger, than the old BlueBrix box was, so we need to do a new back. And then the next step is to do the new cabling and of course the new lights. First, as a basic test with Unclem at klemmbausteine-world.de, we have tested a beacon, a rotating one, and since this is not the only style, we also need a lot of light in the night. These are the little LEDs that you can push through a Technic brick or a Technic lift arm to have some lighting in front, and this is what we're doing here with 4 of them, and those will be also remotely controlled. What we're doing now is doing the cabling here, since it shouldn't touch anywhere, especially not with the tires or the lots of motors or engines that are in the back of this model anyway. But we have to do a bit of routing there, since we need to attach these cables, all of them, to the battery box in the back, and therefore we need some cable ties, in fact a lot of them, and we need some extensions, since we have to stack up all the cables from the LEDs to the battery box, and the less cable goes to the battery box the better. The beacon is not radio controlled, it's just running when the battery box is switched on, and since it was a model that started as a USB powered one, it also had to be changed in a certain way, but that's again for later. And then after all the cable ties are mounted and of course cut, we're coming to the rotating beacon in the end. And we're coming to the show that is soldering in this case. Yes, I did that for converting the little board that is used to put in a 1x1 transparent brick, round brick, to imitate a beacon to have it on a battery box instead of a USB controller. So we have to do some soldering for some resistors. I used a 50 ohms and a 100 ohms. To prevent the whole caboodle from going bang, and I'm happy to report until now it didn't. After that, we're doing our new back and putting the whole thing together again, at least in the back. Since, yes, you could open it quite a bit, but for working with all those cables and all those cable ties and all those routing for new cables, this wasn't too easy to use or to do. And I can report this all worked out quite okay. And we can really have our new model here. Yes, the back is it could be a bit improved with different pieces in there. So while testing, I was experiencing some touching on the floor when we had a bit of a load on the fork or the shovel on the front, but this will be easily fixed by different panels that are going in there once I have been able to source some, and I'm still on the lookout for that. But after that, everything worked as expected. You can really fine steer all the stuff that is in there, and it's also working with the BlueBrix motors or engines in there. Mode King doesn't care really about what kind of engine you got, and BlueBrix doesn't also, so you have a bit of a sweet spot for the steering, that is true, but with a bit of training, which I don't have, you can use this or steer this really professional and really with a lot of fine tuning there. And now we're back in Garbsen with the unclem, and yeah, just share me in the comments if you are proud that I've got it right finally. Yes, thank you. This is a version from this place of the whole caboodle here, not with the new battery pack, but with the first tries of the beacon on top. And then we are back on the workbench again. This time it's the mirrors. Yes, in the original those are black, and this doesn't look too good, does it? And you can see yourself in those mirrors, and that's kind of what mirrors are about. So I was also determined to remedy that with using a bit of aluminium foil, cutting it in the right places and just gluing it on the black pieces, on the black mirror pieces from the black mirror or whatever. And back to the impressions of all the movement that this thing can do. So it can lift, and if you can use it, or if you're able to steer something like this, you're much better than me. And now we got our model at night, and yeah, there is a lot of light in there, and it's not just the camera over saturated in this case, but it's a fair amount of light that the white LEDs in the front give, and a plethora of light that the beacon gives. But since in the modern times lots of those beacons are in reality LED too, so there is not really any difference. These are bright compared to those days where these were incandescent. So it's not a problem that these beacons are bright, so they're a bit more realistic in this way. And then my driving skills, yeah, they are none to speak of, I know, but I'm gonna try, and with the analog steering here and the analog throttle and brake and all that stuff, it's much better, it's much easier for me, especially the steering, which is articulated in this case. That is much better. The downside is, as you can see in the background, clearance is not too good in this version, but it's gonna go better once I got the right panels here. And what we see here is the model on the ground, on the outside, in the dark, and mostly dark. As you can see, the LEDs do their job. They really brighten things up, and if you put on those LEDs, you can see stuff also in the dark. So if you were the driver of this vehicle, you had no problems at all seeing what you are doing. Consider you know what you're doing. And as you can also see, there's nothing falling off of this model, even if it's BlueBrix. No, it's stable, it's staying together even with the changes I've made here. It is working quite well, it is lifting stuff, not too heavy of course, but it does lift and it does put things back, and it does it very well. The weight that is delivered with this model is not really a problem for the model, so it's all good, it's all working, it's all analog working now, and it's all bright, so bright times. And that's it for this video. If you liked what you've seen, please press the like button. If you didn't like it, please comment me that, and if you really want to be awesome, please subscribe. With this, have fun building, have fun mocking, have fun playing, and see you.